All right. So here is Donald Trump at his joke of a press conference yesterday talking about the Affordable Care Act. Now, the idea of repeal and replace happening simultaneously or one after the other requires one of at least two things. One is it requires either the filibuster to be removed, 10 Democrats to sign on with the Republicans, assuming they hold their 52 or their majority, maybe 8, I guess, Democrats. And it's going to either necessarily require Republicans to raise taxes or millions of people to not be covered with health insurance. It will also likely require a rollback on all of the enhancements to make our health insurance actually an effective product, right? Like, I could say, like, hey, come on in for an oil change. And I put, I don't know, olive oil in your car as opposed to motor oil. And say, like, I gave you oil. Car broke down. The most important thing the Affordable Care Act did for literally universally was to ensure that the health insurance that you have actually is effective when you need it the most through regulation, and that you have access to it regardless of pre-existing conditions. The other thing was the expansion of Medicaid. But here is Donald Trump both articulating that he has a plan distinct from the Republicans in Congress as to what's going to happen with Obamacare, and that he's completely ignorant of any details about that plan. And he's doing this simultaneously.
Going to be submitting as soon as our secretary is approved, almost simultaneously, shortly thereafter, a plan. It'll be repeal and replace. It will be essentially simultaneously. It will be various segments, you understand, but will most likely be on the same day or the same week, but probably the same day, could be the same hour. So we're going to do repeal and replace. Very complicated stuff. And we're going to get a health bill passed. We're going to get health care taken care of in this country. You have deductibles that are so high that after people go broke paying their premiums, which are going through the roof, the health care can't even be used by them because the deductibles are so high. Obamacare is the Democrats' problem. We are going to take the problem off the shelves for them. We're doing them a tremendous service by doing it. We could sit back and let them hang with it. We are doing the Democrats a great service. So as soon as our secretary is approved and gets into the office, we'll be filing a plan. And it was actually pretty accurately reported today, the New York Times. And the plan will be repeal and replace Obamacare. We're going to have a health care that is far less expensive and far better.
Okay, let's just take one thing that he said here about the deductibles. There is absolutely no way that the Republicans can pass a bill which will lower deductibles. In fact, the plan that they have will only increase deductibles. Their plan, understand that there is a pretend agreement of a problem here. And it's pretend because Republicans cannot admit that they do not see a goal to be universal coverage. They do not fundamentally believe that universal health insurance coverage or access is a goal to be pursued by society. Now, they can't admit that. Rand Paul comes close, but they cannot admit that. Of course they cannot. Because the American public will be like, wait, what? The idea of deductibles being smaller is completely antithetical to what someone like Rand Paul or the Republicans, broadly speaking, would call for, because they want you to have the opportunity to buy very high deductible insurance because they don't want you to use it too much, because you need to be a smarter consumer. So Trump is just talking out of his arse. He certainly doesn't know the details. And he certainly doesn't know the details of Tom Price's plan that he laid out in 2015, which calls for, catastrophic insurance only, which is another way of saying like extremely high deductible insurance that doesn't help you with your normal wellness. So here's what I predict. They are begging the Democrats to never, ever confirm their Health and Human Services Secretary. And I imagine he's going to be last on the list. They're going to be confirming they're going to be bringing up like the fourth deputy of the assistant to the director at the EPA's most minor division before they bring up Tom Price, because they're going to need some time to figure this out. Or they're going to need some time for people to forget that Donald Trump said this yesterday.
I have a question. I'm not sure if you know, but how high is a really high deductible right now on state exchanges? Do you know?
I don't know. Probably it depends. I don't know.
I think I've seen
$4,000.
I think I've seen it go as high as $5,000. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of a function of what state and whatnot. But
right. Yeah. But so doesn't that, if you're coming in with a pre-existing condition, I mean, it still makes it worth it, because for a lot of people, because the the cost of pharmaceuticals is so high that you make up the difference. I mean, people are on drugs that they need monthly that
your
can cost.
It can be both a net benefit for you and still unaffordable.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I know that the Republicans or at least Paul Ryan wants everyone to die instead of.
I don't think they actively want people to die, but I think they just
No,
sort of feel like
it's just
none
part
of our
of
business.
his plan. Yeah, it's none of his business if everyone dies.
Read Ayn Rand.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a little bit more creative, you'd stay alive.
What you're going to see with the Republican plan is going to be like tax credits, which is irrelevant for a huge number of people. You're going to see health savings accounts. So all that money that you're saving right now for your beer runs, Matt, you just put it in your health savings account. Millions of dollars that you're saving for your beer runs. They'll do the continuous coverage thing. If you maintain continuous coverage, you can have pre-existing conditions, maybe.
I wasn't speaking out in favor of high deductibles. I was just saying.
No, I know what you're
how
saying.
high can it go? Like, I mean, can they?
You could theoretically do $12,000.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Some over. Subscribe.